Humans of the cardboard, welcome back. Once again, Cyberstorm Access reveals. We've got a new card, and yes, the name looks very familiar. This card is called Trap Track. No, it's not Trap Trick, but god damn it, it's very similar to it, and we know how Trap Trick has seen quite a bit of play over the years, especially with how much trap cards are kind of looked down upon. I mean, other than evenly matched and in perm, is there another generic trap that like we've really seen more consistently than Trap Trick, with certain packages playing like the Trap Trick into Artifact Sanctum package, stuff like that? It's a really good card for traps. That's all I'm saying. So let's get into it. We have a brand new trap card here that's very generic, and it's probably a pickup for most people in general, because it could come up eventually. This card is Trap Track. It's a normal trap card. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. Target one monster you control. Destroy it, and if you do, this is very important here, and if you do, we'll talk about that in a sec, set one normal trap from your deck, except for Trap Track. It can be activated this turn. Also, you can only activate one trap card for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. So, a lot of similarities to Trap Trick in the fact that sets pretty much any normal trap from deck, and also has that same lock where you can only activate one more trap card for the rest of the turn. And that's a fair restriction, to be honest. That's kind of what keeps Trap Trick from being played in like literally every normal trap deck, is like sometimes you don't want to oversee it because it's going to lock down the rest of your back row, stuff like that. But that's okay. Aside from that, a lot of really cool factors of this card. A lot of interesting pieces. So, first and foremost, you have to target a monster and destroy it. And what's important here is, I mentioned this, it says, and if you do. I believe when you have this text, it means you have to destroy the monster for you to be able to resolve the rest of this card's effects. So, if you want to get that trap card, you have to destroy a monster you control. Which means, you know, I was thinking about it before I really went through the rulings on this. I was like, oh, if you play this in like Trap Trick, you could target any of your extra deck monsters, which by the way are unaffected by trap effects. So you could target a monster, it wouldn't be destroyed, and then you said trap. But you can't, because the monster has to be destroyed. And so where I land on this card is that part's not super ideal, obviously. We don't want to have to destroy our own stuff, but I do think, all things considered, it's not the end of the world, because there's quite a few archetypes that are control based and play traps already that float on destruction. So there's definitely a couple of archetypes that definitely could make decent use of this card. The other thing that's very important here is the difference in how it gets the trap card. This just sets a normal trap. Technically, Trap Trick sets a normal trap too, but don't forget, the way Trap Trick works is you have to banish one copy of that same trap to then set the other. And so that almost requires you to play at least 2 copies of any normal trap. A lot of times you end up playing 3 anyway, or like a Trap Trick, or not a Trap Trick, never mind, I'm thinking of Lilith. Forget that. You just a 2 or 3 copies mandatory, just because you literally can't get it. Aside from that, so if you had already drawn one, but you still want to get another copy later in the duel, you'd want to play 3. But if you're okay with just getting it one time only, 2 is fine. This card just sets anything. So you could literally play a one of that is for a specific matchup, specific utility, and get it off of this card, and that could be an absolute blowout. I mean, I think about stuff like your Artifact Sanctum. Without having to play too many copies dedicated in the main, you could play multiple copies of this because it has extra utility to get you other stuff as well, but also just boom, it's just Artifact Sanctum, or Dimensional Barrier, or just whatever blowout cards there are, different Dimension Ground, stuff like that. The utility is very, very nice. So yeah, I mean, long story short, that's the bonus, is you don't have to play 2 to 3 copies of some of the targets here. You could even play one of extra deck or side deck options. That way, once you know the matchup you're in, it only requires 1 side deck slot for it, so you don't have to go all in on a giant side deck package. You don't have to play 3 Sanctums and or 2 Sanctums, 2 Trap Tricks, and a whatever. You could just play like 3 of this, which could get you, your imperms or something basic as well, if you don't need the Sanctum, and then you just play one Sanctum, one Scythe, cuts down on side deck space like that. It's just, in certain scenarios, I could see this card just straight up being better than Trap Trick. So I respect it in that way. But yeah, really, really cool card. Let me know your thoughts down below. The first couple of decks that I could really think of off the top of my head, I didn't spend too much time on this, but I thought about Unchained is an archetype that plays traps that also wants all their stuff destroyed, so it's not a minus to destroy one of your monsters, because it could even get you into more Interruption if you're able to summon the big guy that like pops a card on summon. So it could lead you into Interruption, it could lead you into more plussing overall, as well as obviously getting you the utility. But you just got to be careful. It depends on how heavy of a trap build you're on, because you don't want to play 3 copies of a card like this. Because you just like can't use it early. It hurts you in terms of how you're able to sequence the way you activate your traps. You kind of have to fire certain stuff early. You have to fire this as pretty much the last one you really want to use, and get a card that you're okay being the final card, the final trap card you use. So you just have to be careful with that and figure out ratios on that front. But I think as long as you do, it's a really cool card. Dinomorphia is another one. All of their monsters on destruction float as well. Just another one to mention. It's cool, but those are the 2 big ones. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any other decks that you think jump out to you. I think the big thing as far as finding synergy here is this, obviously. You have to destroy one of your monsters, so it's got to be something that's okay being destroyed. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. A very cool card. Let me know what situations you're already planning on throwing this card in, or what decks, or whatever. Very, very cool one-off add to the set. This is a nice little addition here. I think we're down to like 11 more cards via that leak. We could be getting a Skull Servant card, a Magistus card, an Agents card. I think there was one other one, but I can't remember what it was. We could be getting a couple of those. I don't know, but that's just from that leak, and they've been right so far, so we'll see. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff from your boy down the line, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.